fast to death, the more you get rebellious.
Right.
Like, come on.
The whole head is sick.
The whole head is sick.
Right.
Judah, the
Right.
southern kingdom, Benjamin, Levi, God.
And the whole heart is faith.
And the whole heart is faith. The whole nation, man.
Right.
You're supposed to be a prominent judge sitting up there in the seat of the law, the laws of the land and the biblical law. But you're going to dress up like a woman, totally define what the Bible says, man. Right, give me Exodus 23 and 1. Just like they had the Pride March in Philly, and the damn thing turned into a riot.
Right.
All them young Jake lesbians and homos out there, they all start fighting and beating each other up.
Right.
Chicks, they was ripping each other clothes on. Eve's flappy breasts was showing. Because you know when they take that lesbian route, they push their breasts.
Yeah. They hold
their breasts.
their whole body.
They want to have their shirt straight.
Yeah.
So when Eve fighting them, wild ass lesbians fighting, he rip her shirt off. Your damn chest look like a man.
Right.
Your ass look like you've been doing some dips at damn Planet Fitness, like a dude.
Like 2 socks.
Yeah, but like 2 socks, man. Like the homosexual jakes, they out there damn. You niggas can't even be and you can't even unify in your damn sodomite march.
Right.
You that go to show you a bunch of niggas no matter what you do, and the self-hatred is on every level. Even in your sodomite community, you get out there and act like a bunch of damn niggas, man.
Right.
Like they had that Pride March, Captain Kasaja from Philly shared the video. Them niggas out there pounding on each other.
Right.
You can't have nothing. You can't have Ramadan right without some little Muslim nigga with a AK-47 or whatever assault rifle you had.
Right.
You can't have your problem. You Philly niggas are just gone, man.
Thank
You can't have your Pride March right. You cannot go to show our people can't get along on no level.
Right.
I mean, what you got, King?
Book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report.
The Lord said, thou shalt not raise a false report. God.
Put not thine hand with the wicked
God.
to be unrighteous and unrighteous wicked.
Read on.
Thou shalt not follow a multitude.
You should not follow a multitude to do evil. The Lord allowed all that confusion and fight and riot to happen out there because you're not supposed to be out there in the Sodomite march anyway.
Right.
The Lord said, don't follow a multitude to do evil. Give me Sirach 26 and 5. Link that up. With Exodus 23 and 2. Sirach 26 and 5. You're not supposed to be out there in a damn Sodomite. So all these young Sodomites out there wilding,
Right.
each other. Right. You see that? That's the Most High doing that.
Pride demon.
Pride demon, yeah. See that? And the Most High tell you, and Isaiah says, surely they shall gather together, but not by me.
Right.
So the spirit is not in your Ramadan march. It's not in your Pride march. That's what the Lord is not happen. And like I said, niggas in Philly, they just kill and murder and fight each other anyway.
Right.
So you can't even have a gathering. And it's like that, getting like that in every damn major city. Every major city. You niggas just can't get along to save your soul. Read what you got, King.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 5.
Good.
There be 3 things that mine heart feareth.
The Lord said, be 3 things that the mind, heart, feareth. Good.
And for the 4th, I was sore afraid.
See that? And Sirach said, for the 4th, I was so afraid. Good.
The slander of a city.
The slander of a city, when you have a bad name, and that bad name is slander. It's like all the people get together and just say this about you and the damn thing ain't true. Somebody start a rumor and it just latches on and it's just a slander now. Right, come on.
The gathering together of an unruly multitude.
What was they Pride March?
The gathering together of an unruly.
That's all that Pride March is.
Right.
The gathering together of an unruly multitude.
It's a gathering together of an unruly multitude. I remember the brothers, the pull-up boys, they went to the Pride March maybe about 5 years ago. Yeah, Sean Paul, there was all kinds of demons out there.
Right.
All kinds of demons out there. Chicks just all wild, want to fight brothers. Yeah, man, read it again, King.
The gathering together.
I remember Salakia, me and Tarab, we went in the village on the Pride Parade. And we went to the village, the damn suicide mission. And Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, she had that song, It's Not Right, But It's Okay.
Right.
And Bobby Brown was out there with her dancing with the damn lesbians and the homos. She was performing out there on the pier. Right, but we was down in the village and we were cutting the hell out of them sodomites and lesbians, man. But it was wild. Yeah. It was wild. We had to hold our own.
Chin. All praises. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai be the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Israel. Kwam Yashala. Here we are, another Wednesday wake-up call. A lot is going on, as usual, in these last days. You know what I'm saying? It's the end time, so it's expected. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into some things. Hurricane season is in full effect. Okay. There are roving nuclear weapons in Siberia. Okay. And a host of other things that we're going to get into. But for now, we're just going to get started. Okay. Is anybody available to read today? Now let's get our scriptures. Let's get our Bibles and our pad and paper in order so we can begin. Let's go with Revelation chapter 8 and verse 1. We get videos in order. The first one is crazy. We're going to start there. The first one is it's madness. Okay. But it's happening. It's occurring. You know what I'm saying? It's something might be, hard to grasp, but that's how I'm starting off like this. We starting off the Wednesday wake-up call with something you more than likely have never seen before. Okay. And I know I haven't, but let's see. Let's get it. Okay. Revelation chapter 8, verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in the heaven about the space of a half hour. Okay, so at this point, the heavens right now is solar flares. It's a comet, once in a lifetime comet. And then something else happened, and it's pretty wild. And I want you to feel me on this one. You let me know what you think, okay? So I never seen it before. Continue on. And I saw the seven angels which stood before Yahweh, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. So the angels coming up giving the prayers of the saints, right? And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before Yahweh out of the angel's hand. Now I'm going to show this video. This video is crazy. You understand? And what triggered this scripture was you can hear the person, it's NASA, it's a NASA video. The person in NASA is going to say, well, this is morning time. This is the sunrise over there in Russia. So this is the morning, okay? And you can see what comes out of Russia in the morning. Let's get Psalm chapter 5 and verse 2. Like I said, something I've never seen before, but nevertheless is supernatural. I'm sure everybody could, agree to disagree on the scripture or the video, but you cannot discount that this is very supernatural. All right, so Psalm chapter 5 and verse 2. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee will I pray. Verse 3. My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning I will direct my prayer unto thee and will look up. Okay, so King David says, in the morning I'm going to pray. Let's look at what happened in Russia early one morning. Now I'm not sure the date, but this is fairly new. Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't seen it. I'm aware of all the other, not all of them, but the other videos that NASA puts out that people have caught stuff, screenshot it, and put it out there. This one's, I guess, hot off the presses because it started making its rounds on the internet. Okay. And let's press play. And we get Tobit 12 and 15 on deck. Tobit 12, verse 15. Oh, Salakia. Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. This video, this lesson is protected by the Fair Use Act as a teaching moment, thus protected by the Fair Use Act. Let's continue.
That was so strange, but I love that he added comparisons so we could, like, for example, see the ISS compared to this strange wild UFO. Speaking of wild UFOs, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the fleet of UFOs over Russia that's absolutely insane. This was accidentally caught by NASA, and some debunkers, if you will, are trying to explain it away as ice. Some said it's just a strange form of condensation. Let me tell you something. I have never seen ice like this, and so much of it, it looks like a fleet of crafts. I want you to take a look and let me know your thoughts, because this one genuinely blew my mind. Check it out.
Afghanistan and India. Discovery also moving into sunrise. It moves into sunrise. Again above Russia.
Bro, you're going to tell me that was ice? All of that was ice. No, just tell us what is going on up there, because that was crazy. Let me tell you something. If I were in that space station, I would not feel, oh my God, I'd want to come home.
Yeah, so a lot of things been going around in that space station. Been hearing crazy noises, pinging noises that they, eventually came back and said, oh, that's normal. That's just the feedback of blah, 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 which of course, NASA lies. And, the things that, the cameras are able to pick up, they have to debunk and say, well, we don't know what that is. So they're saying that's ice. It doesn't look like ice to me. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a bunch of, I believe, chariots going up into the heavens all at the same time. Okay. And let's get Tobit chapter 12, verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. So there's angels that take our prayers up to the Heavenly Father. And I've never seen anything like that before. You know what I mean? That's amazing. What was caught on the so-called International Space Station. Okay. Khan, go ahead.
Yeah, I go ahead. I came to Paul Bearer for you.
Khan, the Water King. All praises. All right, our next Shalom Yahbashim Ashabakatam. All right.
Shalom, Basha,
Khan. Our next video, or next scripture, Shalaki, is Joel 3, verse 4. We cannot negate what's going on in the world. It's wartime. Okay, it's clearly wartime. In, I want to say, not just in America, but this is worldwide. All right, you can bring that out. Joel chapter 3, verse 4. Baba Kashar.
Come. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 4. When all have a say, come. Verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
So this is the word of the day. You know what I'm saying? Recompense is going on throughout the four corners. Okay. The Most High is not playing. There are roving nuclear weapons going around Serbia right now in combat ready. They're in combat mode. This isn't you know, how they have the parade where, you know, they're marching and looking at Putin saying, hi, look what we got, these nuclear weapons. Combat mode means at the drop of a dime, given the right coordinates, or given the right password or whatever, they're ready to launch. You know, this is serious business. And anybody that deals with those nuclear missiles got to be ready to hit a button that's going to like literally destroy thousands of people in a flash. Okay. So that's what's happening on the other side of the world. And we're going to get to that as far as Beirut and Lebanon, Hezbollah, all that good stuff. All right. Can you read verse? What's that? That was verse 4. Can you read verse 5?
Verse 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
And that will be us. Okay. That is the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. Okay. And of course, in the Middle East, you know, so the sub-Saharan slave trade. That's Ishmael. Okay. We were taken to the, you know, walk throughout the deserts. They cut our Achilles heel and had us crawl in the sand. And that slave trade is still going on to this day. It hasn't stopped. You know, at least in America, they, you know, switched it over. This is the 13th Amendment. So that's why we, like the elder was bringing out, we get arrested for loitering and doing simple things and get 35 years because, you know, now you're a slave and you're back in the fields. You have to work. You know what I'm saying? You have to make goods and services for JCPenney's and Walmart and all these other different stores around the country. Okay, but over there in the so-called Middle East, it still continues to go on. Okay, so what's happening now? God's blowing them back to the Stone Age. You know, one heathen versus another heathen, and we get to watch with our popcorn. Okay, let's get Isaiah 40 and verse 15 while we watch this next video of what's going on in the so-called Middle East. World War III is occurring as we speak. Hasn't gotten the nuclear missiles yet, but the nuclear missiles have rolled out. All right, they definitely got rolled out. But let's continue.
The breaking news out of the Middle East, where Israel conducted its heaviest strikes on Hezbollah targets in Beirut, Lebanon, since the start of the conflict. Israel's escalation in Gaza and Lebanon come amid rising fears of Iran being drawn into an all-out regional war.
Lorsque nous demandons des cessez-le-feu,
when calling for a ceasefire, as we did for Gaza and as we did for Lebanon last week, we make sure we don't call for a ceasefire while continuing to send weapons for the war. And I think it's simply about being consistent.
c'est simplement de la cohérence. The bombing in Beirut goes on. Giant flames leapt into the night sky over the city's southern side.
There was quite an explosion which just rocked Beirut. Here it is here. You take the audio as well. So the building had been on fire for the best part of the last hour, and then something erupted.
The French president calling for an end to weapon shipments to Israel.
Shame on them. Israel will win with or without their support.
Almost midnight in Beirut, the night sky becomes a fireball. The Lebanese capital under heavy attack. For the people here, there would be no sleep. Multiple Israeli airstrikes continued for several hours. Next to a hotel, this building goes up in flames. The IDF says it's been targeting Hezbollah facilities, often in residential areas.
You also warns of an alliance brewing between China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea.
They're working together, that's for sure. Whether that's an axis or an alliance, but certainly there are symptoms, signs that they're working together.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
And you can see Israel surrounded by enemies. They continue an offensive in Gaza. They continue an offensive in Lebanon. They're dealing with Houthi rebels, lobbing missiles as well. So as much as things have changed, a lot remains the same. The question, this country right here, Saudi Arabia, will all of this Iranian agitation eventually push them back into a relationship with Israel? Some people contend that could be possible. But after this last year, I wouldn't bet that we know what's going to happen next.
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
What is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran? Don't come across the border. Don't escalate this war. That's right.
And I'm not isolating Washington only. I'm talking about Europe as well. If you are focused yet again on whether or not we can appease this regime and cut a deal with them and negotiate with them, and in a way expect a behavior change from this regime, that simply means that we have yet to understand the DNA and nature of the system.
Russia's foreign ministry said on Friday that a decision to remove the Taliban from a list of banned terrorist organizations has been taken at the highest level. In July, Russian President Putin had said that Russia considered Afghanistan's Taliban movement an ally in the fight against terrorism.
It's difficult to say whether Washington understands this, but so far this show has been going on following the Israeli script. And if it reaches its finale, the conflict can reach an unimaginable level of escalation and will threaten not just the Middle East, but the entire world.
Today, Hezbollah, for its part, continuing to fire rockets on northern Israel. And then this morning in northern Gaza, the Israeli military ordering more than 300,000 Palestinians to once again evacuate. This time, the Israeli military says they're focusing on the Jabalia refugee camp, where they say Hamas is reconstituting on the same day that they targeted a mosque and a school in the central part of the strip that they allege Hamas is exploiting. All of this happening on the eve of the anniversary of the October 7th attack.
Okay, so as you see, the president of France, right, talking about dissension, is like we should have a weapons embargo on Israel. So, you know, of course, that's a NATO ally, right? Allegedly. And you know, Netanyahu had come out and say, we're going to win regardless if you know, we need your help or not, And later on, they didn't say this in that video, but that big explosion was a French gas station, like a, you know, French-owned gas depot. And that's why it blew up so much. So he said, oh, you're not going to help us with weapons? We'll blow up your infrastructure inside of Lebanon. That's escalatory, right? They did that to Russia. They you know, they had an issue with Russia helping out the so-called, you know, helping out Iranians with missile defense systems. So they blew up a weapons depot near a Russian base. And I believe the Russian base got hit. Still kind of shaky on that because neither side is really talking too much on that. But Netanyahu's pretty much unhinged. You know, anybody has a problem with him, he's starting to strike them. So he's getting drunk off that power, and the Most High is going to give him a cup of affliction to chase it down with. Okay. You see our great leaders, Jim Crow, Joe Biden, Kama Sutra Harris, they say, don't. Do you have any message for the people that want to destroy your country and to do? Don't. So that's about as far as you get with the prolific speech of our president now, and quite possibly our future president. All right, so it's looking pretty crazy around there. Let's get Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15. Let's see who these people are that we're talking about. All right, bring that up. Time.
Con, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15. And all I have to say, Con. 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing.
And these nations are nothing, you know what I mean? A drop of a bucket. Okay, go ahead.
16. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn.
What does it say?
And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn.
Go ahead.
Nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering.
These people are nothing. Okay, not even worth a sacrifice. You know, go ahead. Can we verse 17?
17. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than anything and vanity.
They're counted less than nothing. They're not important at all. Okay. So, you know, Most High is dealing with them as target practice. You know, these people are getting blown up in their sleep. They said in Lebanon it was very hard to sleep. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's very difficult to sleep when there's bombs blowing up all around you. And as we talked about earlier, with Netanyahu shaking like a leaf, his hands were shaking. He was trying to read the script. They're in bad shape over there. Okay, you know, those bombs over Baghdad that is being dropped by Hezbollah is having an effect on Amalek, and Amalek is pretty much blowing up Hezbollah's leadership all over the place, whether it's radios, pagers, bombs, drones, whatever. It's going back and forth, and it's not stopping. Okay, and every now and then, like we're gonna look at the next video, Iraq jumps in. Every now and then, Syria jumps in. Every now and then, Yemen jumps in. Iran shot their missiles, 200 missiles, and like 80 to 90% of those missiles hit their targets. And, you know, right now, Israel's like, yeah, we're going to bomb back, you know, and Iran's like, do it. You know, they're talking real tough. You know what I'm saying? If you touch our nuclear program, it's a red line. Any retaliation from Israel is a red line at this point. They didn't say that, but he was saying, if you guys strike us, we're striking back. We threw 200 before, we'll double it up or whatever, something to that effect. Like we're not afraid to throw some more. So it's looking good in the Valley of Jehoshaphat over there in so-called Middle East. Let's continue on. Let's see what's going on with Iraq. Dietrich, I think the next one doesn't have any commentary. So if you could, read the words at the bottom of the screen, I appreciate it. In case people are driving, I don't want you to stop and try to read, what's on your phone. Continue to drive. Be safe, right? But let's go with Luke 21 and 20. Now, Yahushua was talking about what was going to happen when Jerusalem's surrounded by armies, happened in 70 AD and during the Roman Empire. But of course, here we are in America, in Babylon, modern day, you name it, every captivity, here we are, right? So it's happening now. Jerusalem's literally being surrounded. All right. It's the time of the Gentiles, though. You know, we're not there. They are, and they're about to be evicted. Okay. Mike Pompeo said that. He said Hezbollah has enough missiles to destroy Israel 2,500 times over. And he's supposed to be Captain America. You know what I'm saying? But he's being honest. Like, they have enough firepower to completely destroy Israel. And Israel knows this. And Iron Dome is being completely overwhelmed. It's almost like it doesn't exist, especially when they're not shooting rockets, but they're shooting ballistic missiles at them. Okay. And plenty of drones. Let's bring that out. Luke chapter 21 and verse 20.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. Or beginning at verse 20. When all have to say come. Verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
So right now, they're surrounded. Hezbollah, Hamas, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Iran. And that's what's going on right now. Okay. Who knows what Turkey's going to do? All right. But and they're losing horribly. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the news, you're like, okay, hey, Israel's really holding their own. Like, no, they're not holding their own at all. They're getting bombed back to the Stone Age. They're they're starting to believe their own propaganda. Like, they can't get hit. That Iron Dome is gone. Like, no, where's the Iron Dome? Anybody seen the Iron Dome? Yeah, their missile defense systems aren't really working too well. You know what I mean? And even though America would have a warship come over, that warship's not doing anything. It can't do anything against these missiles. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they can, $1 million cruise missile to shoot it down, but that's not guaranteed to shoot down a hypersonic missile. And that's what they're getting shot with, hypersonic missiles. Okay, and a whole bunch of other things. Hezbollah even went into Israel a little bit just to check out, see the distance, how far can we get before you bring out the helicopters and everything. So they're really testing the waters, because the plan is to, they're going to destroy Israel off the face of the map. And of course, they got to cleanse it for the real Jews to show up. Okay, so let's watch this video. And Dietrich, I don't think there's any sound in this, so I'm going to mute it, and I'm going to turn it down really low so people can hear you. All right, here we go.
After inflicting massive casualties on Israeli forces. Iraqi fighters strike vital targets in Israel. Iraqi fighters have carried out a third drone attack on Israel in 3 days. Islamic resistance in Iraq posted video showing a drone attack on northern Israel. The Iran-backed group said it attacked 3 vital locations in northern Israel. Islamic resistance has pledged to increase the intensity of its attacks on Israeli targets.
So they're doing all this. They got 3 vital targets. They're very patient. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael is a wild man, but I'm seeing that he is very patient and will, go through all of this to get 3 targets, 2 targets, 1 major target. You know what I mean? So, they have to match that level of patience and like the intensity coming from each one of these countries. And Israel's not able to compete with that. Let's continue.
On October 3rd, Islamic resistance fighters carried out 3 separate operations. On Friday, Iraqi fighters launched a barrage of drones targeting Golan and Tabaria. The IDF reported that 2 Israeli soldiers were killed and 24 injured in the drone attack on October 3rd. The deceased soldiers were Sergeant Daniel Avid, Hamid Safar, and Captain Slaki, and Corporal Tal Drop, both aged 19. This was the first time since the Gaza war that Iraqi fighters used high-tech drones. Islamic resistance in Iraq has been launching attacks on Israel since last year. Iraqi fighters has vowed to resist occupation and support Palestine and Lebanon.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
All right, the Water King. Those aren't those little cheap drones either. You see them things got a little booster on them. You know what I'm saying? And it's in the dead of night. So how can you sleep when you got these little drones blowing up all around you? You know what I'm saying? And it said just three vital targets were struck. And if everybody does a little bit, Yemen's doing this, knocking out the boats in the Red Sea, and Iraq throwing them drones, Iran throwing them missiles, Hezbollah throwing them rockets, Hezbollah got a mix of everything. It ain't looking good over there for Amalek, but this is what he wanted. He wanted to be like us. Well, good luck. I don't think he's gonna make it though. All right, now let's get to some local news here in America. Let's get Job 21:17. Everybody has to be able to see what's going on down in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Was it Helen to Milton? And Milton's hitting right now as we speak. It's like landfall, but Nadine, it's another hurricane that could possibly hit Florida that of course they're not really talking about because you got to worry about what Milton's doing. But they said Nadine has a chance of turning into a hurricane and also hitting Florida. This is overkill, you know what I'm saying? But of course it was overkill when they called our children gator bait. You know what I mean? It was overkill when they took the Seminole Indians to war. It's overkill when Matt Gaetz says his dog whistles over there down in Florida. And Florida is one of the most racist places on the face of the planet, not even just in America, the face of the planet. Florida has a real unique type of Edomite down there that ain't afraid to, you know what I'm saying? They're not really politically correct, if you will. Well, now God's kicking the crap out of them. You know what I'm saying? Pray that all our Israelite family down there aiming to be righteous is under the protection of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Everybody else ain't I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You might have to put your head between your legs and kiss you behind goodbye. Okay. Ron DeSantis, what did he say? Water for that. I almost forgot about him. What did he say? He said, was it race theory, right?
Critical race theory. He didn't want nothing to do with it.
Critical race theory. And he don't want to talk about our what our ancestors been through, what we continue to go through. They don't want to get into that. Well, the Most High has the last word on everything. Let's bring that out in Job chapter 21, verse 17.
This is the book of Job, chapter 21, verse 17. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? God distributed sorrow in his anger.
We look at what happened with Helene. A lot of sundown towns got touched, places that Jake couldn't go when the sun goes down, or you have the chance of getting pulled over by the police and handcuffed and then lynched, and then, he killed himself type things, right? Well, now, Most High has the last word, like we're saying. Let's bring out verse 18.
Verse 18. They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away.
So let's watch this. What's going on now with Melton? Let's get Isaiah 17, verse 12 on deck. All right, but this storm is no joke. It's been called apocalyptic. And already there are tornadoes before it made landfall. And it was actually tornadoes on the east coast of Florida, even though the hurricane's coming by the west coast. So all of Florida right now, is something going on, you know what I mean? And they said the storm surge is deadly. All right, but let's watch this video.
Go
ahead.
Salak, was that on 17? Isaiah 17 and 12?
Time. What?
To come in from the west like this and make landfall on the western coast of Florida.
This is historic, right? This is a history-making giant hurricane that is going across the entirety of the state, the central part of the state of Florida, from west coast to east coast.
Oh, there's huge wedge. Oh my God. That's near Lake Okeechobee. These are the kinds of tornadoes that you see here in Texas and Oklahoma, not in South Florida. And we got some more pictures as well.
Across the highway there, you see it. Many Floridians say they've never seen anything like this storm.
We've had at least 2 of these hurricanes produce one EF3 tornado, which is unheard of, has not happened before.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. That's wicked. First time I've seen one in a long time since it's been out of Colorado.
Forecasters say the intensity of Milton is like nothing Floridians have ever seen before.
They're talking possible 15-foot storm surge. None of us in 100 years have seen anything like this. It is shocking.
That's a confirmed tornado on the ground right there. You can see, wow, huge, impressive. And you can see the debris. Yeah, just spinning there. It's on the ground. You can see that clearly on camera. It's gonna be a wild afternoon, everybody. Oh yeah, it is. It's very active. And look at that. Look at that column, Vanessa. Wow.
Come right here. You can see it going through the cane field.
Wow. So the lower that number goes, the faster the air is rising up, the more the storm is working like a machine. This pressure it's been with and close to this has put it in the top 5 strongest storms in history
I want you to take a look at this. It's how huge Hurricane Milton is, as seen from the International Space Station just yesterday. It's covering much of the Gulf of Mexico.
Still potentially a record surge with for the Sarasota area, reaching up to potentially 15 feet.
Imagine 6 feet of storm surge. Now this completely floods out the first floors of homes and businesses, and the only way to escape that is to move to the higher floor of a building. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be places that get more than 6 feet of storm surge flooding. Imagine this, 9 feet and even beyond of flooding, of inundation. This is practically not survivable.
Even though it's weakening now, I still think the surge is going to be really something to
Catastrophic, as the FEMA director talked about. This is an interesting graphic because it shows a couple of things. The first of which, the rapid intensification that it underwent, a tropical storm late Sunday night, and then Monday going from a Category 1 to a Category 5 storm in the second fastest time frame we've ever measured.
Experts say it has the potential to be one of the most destructive storms on record.
And Gabar, HOI NYC pointed this out. Look at that. What does that look like to you? Does that not, you know what I'm saying? Is that an eye, literally an eye? You see the nose, you see the mouth, you know, it said a Deli's record, both shaped like skulls, you know what I mean? And with Milton, it looks like almost like a lion's mane in the back, you know, almost and a smile, like the Joker. Yeah, this is serious, and these are huge hurricanes. Okay. Let's continue. And look at that. Those are Matthew 2016 and Milton 2024. Okay, and some good news, some bad news. All right. So Israel, the Spanish Lakes Country Club has been destroyed. All right. I know you were probably thinking about getting a membership there. Just about $30,000. You know what I'm saying? 30,000 to go to the Spanish Lakes Country Club. That joint is reduced to rubble right now. Okay. That's something we seem to be priced out of. I looked on their website, didn't seem seen a whole lot of us down there, but a whole lot of them. And looks like the roof collapsed on them. So he said multiple fatalities. That's not what I'm talking about. It's bad news, but I don't think we're gonna get our membership anytime soon. You know what I mean? So to save your $30,000, Israel, that place is done. Save it for the kingdom. All right, so let's get Isaiah chapter 17 and verse 12.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 17 and verse 12. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations, that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters.
And these other nations want our demise. They want our destruction. You know, like Ron DeSantis, he don't want you taught about your history. You know what I mean? It's up to them. We're low wage workers. We came over here. We didn't get too much. We didn't get paid too much. You know what I mean? But we came over here to work. That's how they're trying to manipulate history. And you know, when we go out there in the streets and say, yo, you're an Israelite, you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. This is the Jesus I know. Why? Because they manipulated history and we get to see it live and direct. This is how they do it. It starts off just, with a blip on the media screen, propaganda. This is what we're going to do. They start changing the textbooks. Nobody's out there to tell them that's any different. So by the time you get in school, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I learned that in school. There's a lot of people that were born after 9/11 that thinks, some terrorists from a cave came here and took down towers with 2 planes. They took down 3 towers with 2 planes. They're not talking about that 3rd tower. What happened to building 7? They're not talking about that. Why do they need to propagandize that we were attacked and now it justifies our retaliation all over the so-called Middle East? So this was an attack on us. Most High attacked them back. Go ahead, read verse 13.
Verse 13. The nation shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but God shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind.
Like they're like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. They're like tumbleweeds right now. They said evacuate, get out of Dodge. You know what I'm saying? So those what was it, I-95 or those highways were packed. People trying to get out of Dodge. Most High rebuked them and they flee afar off. Let's continue on with the good word and what's happening in the world. Okay, so Spanish Lakes, I don't know how many people met their demise there, but when I find out, I will let you know. But let's not forget, we just came off a major hurricane, Hurricane Helene. They said that has that body count is higher. I'm not sure it's a relation to Katrina, but it's up there as far as the most fatalities in a hurricane in the United States. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 2. See that picture with all those, or the video with all those lightning strikes? That's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy in these hurricanes. A lot of force, a lot of power. Some people are saying that this was weather manipulation. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, I'm a conspiracy theorist to an extent, but I'll look into that as well, because there's not too many hurricanes that start in the Gulf of Mexico that go east. Normally they go west, but and it's so powerful. It's almost like that hurricane is directly hitting a command center down there in Tampa, Florida. It's a command center that the United States uses with warships going here and send some planes over there. So that's the command center. And that hurricane hit pretty much smack dead center in Tampa, if the models are still the same. So it's possible, you know what I mean? I don't think the United States did it. If anybody, it would be Russia, but what it ultimately comes down to is it's the Most High. Even if it is weather manipulation, the Most High allowed it to happen. This is what he wants to happen, and it's happening. Okay. But let's bring that out. Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 2.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 2. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hell and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand.
The Most High does all this, okay? This is his work. This is his will. And that's why it's always a good time to repent. You know what I'm saying? This is something that we don't want, you know what I mean? As far as happening to ourselves, you know what I mean? To let it happen to the other nations. But, we just want to have that house that's untouched, that everything else is destroyed around us, but we're good because we're under the watchful eye and under the shadow of the Almighty. Okay. So when's a good time to repent? Now. Okay, so let's look where we came from, because everybody's almost forgetting about Helena or Helene rather than everybody's talking about Milton. Don't forget this. This was what, last week? Back to back. All right. Let's get that. Slacky, I had to mute.
This is they're still assessing the full impact of Helene on Western North Carolina, an area where I am hearing things could be much worse than we know right now, with limited information getting out of those decimated communities. Law enforcement sources assisting in the efforts telling me that in certain areas they ran out of body bags, and the death toll could surpass that of Hurricane Katrina, which was almost 1,300. Now, let's hope that's not the case. But it's always hard to know exactly what everyone else is doing. Rescue efforts now transitioning into recovery operations, slow going, with the hardest hit areas still virtual war zones, swallowed by mud and debris, searchers going door to door and car to car, searching for anything. Mobile morgues have been requested in some mountain counties as the effort continues in and around Asheville. That's what we know. This is what we know officially, all right? Officially, the death toll stands at 235 from the hurricane, at least 115 of those in North Carolina. That number is days old. This is the Governor Roy Cooper.
There are some very isolated communities that they're doing airdrops and working to find temporary ways to get to them. But if you knew what was happening on the ground, you would see that there is a coordinated effort to help people. There are soldiers and National Guard and emergency management people going door to door, working to try to find people.
Now, there are also a lot of lies going around about what is and isn't happening on the ground, outrageous, harmful lies that may be actively hurting those already suffering. We'll get to that in a minute, though. But I also don't quite understand why local officials are not sharing with the broader public the scope of the devastation. I've talked to numerous law enforcement sources who are working so hard out there. First of all, thank you to all of them. They tell me they've been specifically told they're not allowed to discuss the situation publicly. Let's talk to Brandon Doherty. He's the CEO and co-founder of Operator Solutions. He and his team were on the ground in North Carolina to help in the recovery operations. Thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. All right. First of all, talk to me about some of what you've seen on the ground there.
Yeah, well, Dan, it was devastating, way worse than anything that I have seen before. And just to give you some context, I served in Hurricane Katrina, Rita, all the major hurricanes, hoisted out over 130 people during Hurricane Harvey. My team did. And I was not expecting what I saw on the ground in North Carolina. It was way worse than what I thought it was going to be, and way worse than probably anybody can imagine. I mean, we flew out there because we heard that people desperately needed help, and the government wasn't stepping up and helping them, and that there was absolutely no organization, no rescue effort in place. And I, as an American patriot, I couldn't sit back and do nothing. So my team assembled and we passed the hat to pay for gas money for our helicopters. And we flew out and on our own dime and just went to work immediately. And it was absolutely chaotic.
And I assume there are, what we're hearing is that, there's a lower number of those missing now. Okay, that makes sense. They're finding some people, but the reality is I think that the numbers when it comes to deaths are going to be much higher, I think, than anyone is expecting.
Yeah, look, I mean, so many of those houses, they still have not even been able to get to. I mean, right. I'm back in Florida now preparing for the next hurricane. But as I left, there was still a lot of areas where they had not actually had people on the ground, you know, going door to door, checking on people. And so I'll put it this way, that there was areas where there was just dirt plots. And when I talked to the locals, they said there used to be 6 houses in that exact area. And now it was nothing more than a mud puddle. You would never know that there was even houses there. And so, you know, where are those people if they were in their home? I mean, we can only pray for them and hope that, you know, that somehow they got out of there before the floodwaters got too high. But it's absolutely devastation like we've never seen before.
All right. Brandon Doherty, thank you. And thank you for what you're doing out there. Thank you for coming on the program.
All right. Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. So they're still cleaning up from Helene. Now Milton shows up. And then now they're looking at Nadine and what Nadine's going to do. But still can't assess what's going on with Milton. So this is layered on top of layered of judgment that's taking place on this earth, on this planet. All right. All praise to the Most High. We have the Day of Atonement where we can repent and afflict ourselves and cry out to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, for our apologies and protection in these last days. When it rains, it pours. Kind. Okay, so we could talk about the hurricanes the rest of the day, but we're going to move on to other things that's occurring, like them just killing Jake. Okay. Police officer killed Jake in Philadelphia. He was unarmed, and you know, now we're hearing from the family of what they think went down that fateful night. All right. We'll come back to that, Ecclesiastes. Let's watch the video first so you see what is going on. HOI news correspondent Yash has sent a video or an article regarding Black men being found dead around the country, right? And it makes sense because, you know, Esau's not catching no losses. I mean, he is. He's a born loser, but he's one of those guys that, you know what I mean, he loses the game, he's taking his ball with him and, you know, trying to shut things down. All right. That's just the way he is. So now that Trump is going to potentially lose against some Black B, as you know, a lot of Edomites are calling her. You know, we understand her nationality is pretty much up in the air, but brothers are saying that she is her father comes from Esau. Okay, mother Elam. But that's bothersome to them. That pisses off Esau. You know what I mean? That the fact that you know, he could lose against this Black B, and you know, the migrants are coming in and they're taking our jobs and kicking us out of, you know, they get these debit cards and all this other stuff. You know, they're trying to have that the Venezuela and Judah, you know what I'm saying? Asher and Judah, the tribes fighting against each other, right? But Esau is getting in it. Esau's like, hold up, I only get $200 a month on my EBT card. How come they get $3,000 or whatever? But it's pissing them off, right? And with that in mind, you know, Esau gets the shooting, he gets the killing, you know what I mean? But let's see what happened in Philadelphia with this young man that was actually, it seemed like he was trying to help out Esau, which is so no in these last days. But let's watch that.
Learning more about the man shot and killed by an off-duty Philadelphia police detective last week. Tonight, his family speaking to Fox 29 and demanding answers about his death and the moments that led up to the gunshots. And Jeff, you spoke with family and their attorney today.
I did. The family of Robert Jones not only is demanding, of course, more details about his killing Thursday night by an off-duty Philadelphia homicide detective, but they say it may have been that Jones thought he was helping a stranded motorist. Michael Jones comforts his 70-year-old mother as friends gather in the Wilson Park community where his brother Robert grew up. His family says Robert Jones, 54, a longtime worker turned supervisor at a Northeast Philly metal manufacturer, is the man killed Thursday evening when an off-duty homicide detective shot him. What did you make of the fact that he was killed by an off-duty police officer?
It angers me a lot, but I gotta stay focused. I gotta stay under control.
Police report it was 11:30 Thursday night when the 43-year-old off-duty detective stopped his car in the turn lane of Willits Road near Holm Avenue with Jones' 2019 Kia behind him. Jones was shot through the window as he approached the detective's car on the driver's side. The family's attorney said he was unarmed and may have been trying to help what he thought was a stranded motorist.
You have an armed officer shoot and kill an unarmed person who is certified to do roadside assistance and is wearing a reflective jacket.
Did your brother possess a gun?
No.
Did he have a gun?
Yeah.
Or know him to have a gun?
No.
Police have released no other details about the shooting, including the detective's name. Despite searching a storm drain Thursday, police have not reported finding a gun. The detective fired his personal weapon. The Jones family says Robert, one of four brothers who was a self-taught artist, worked for 10 years on the Eagles ground crew.
To me, I feel as though whatever they're trying to save the officer, but at the same time, they're trying to just put the stain on my brother's name. By my account, this is an unjustified shooting, and unjustified shootings should be accompanied by criminal charges.
Now, we certainly need to know a lot more of what happened here Thursday night at 11:30. Philadelphia police did not release new or further details today. We were in contact, certainly, with the Philadelphia Police Department during the day today. The Jones family is angry, incensed, in fact, about early reports that this may have been some attempted carjacking. Absolutely false, they say.
Okay, so yeah, who carjacked somebody without a gun? I don't know what, this ain't Grand Theft. You can't even do that in Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying? So, but this is reality. This is real life. Okay, he had a reflector's jacket on, coming to help. I don't know if it's Esau or not. You know what I mean? But even if it's not, it would be somebody who has that mentality of an Edomite. You know what I mean? You see Jake, obviously he's violent. Obviously he's going to carjack you. You know what I mean? So shoot him through the window. Don't even roll down the window and say, hi, what are you doing? You just shoot first. You know what I'm saying? And then here's the Philadelphia police trying to cover things up, or, let's look for a gun anywhere. So this guy got shot and had the wherewithal to take his gun that he was trying to carjack a homicide police detective and threw it down the sewer. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's them reaching, but it's probably, wherever you're watching this, it's probably stuff happening around you. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we gotta be aware of. Okay, so Esau knows, the devil knows he has a short time. Okay, and just like Sonia Massey's shooter, right? The police officer that shot Sonia Massey, he had colon cancer. So he's probably like, man, I'm not gonna make it anyway. I might as well just fire away and take one of these people with us, with him. So we got to keep that in mind. Not sure if he knew that was Esau or whatever, but it's a time and place for everything, and this ain't the time nor the place. Okay, let's bring that out though. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
There's a season and a time for everything. Drop down to verse 7, Bubba Kashar.
Verse 7. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. So
sometimes it's time to rip things apart and it's time to put things together. We're not putting anything together here in America, man. Like this is done. You know what I mean? This place is have been targeted. Literally, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai put an X on Babylon through the through the path of the eclipses, that past few eclipses that happened in the United States. It's a big X on America. The place is done. It's over with. Okay. So trying to put it together and everything is, you're going to be banging yourself up, bang your head on the wall, because it's God that's taking this place down. So you can't go against God. All right. Can you read verse 8?
Verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
This is not a time of peace. You know what I'm saying? It's in the time to love random people, on the streets. The best thing to do is if you want to help somebody, call it in, call the proper authorities. He's a cop. What's he doing? Just posted in the turning lane. But that's how these cops are. They're above the law. Traffic patterns and traffic laws don't apply to me. I'm just going to sit here and be on my cell phone or whatever he was doing. You know what I mean? Stuck in the turning lane. Who knows if he might have honked his horn like, yo, are you okay? And the guy didn't move. All right, let me go see what he's doing. You know what I mean? Let me see if he's stuck. And the guy shoots him. Okay. So they would definitely love this story to get under wraps, but we're not doing that. We're going to find out his name. You know what I mean? Listen to what his family's saying and follow this case. Okay. But like it says in Sirach, if you're trying to help Esau, you see, I don't know if it's Esau. I'm guessing. You never know. It could be Jake or whatever. But you can't pity somebody who a charmer that's bitten by a serpent, like it says in Sirach. This is a time of war going on right now. So we can't be acting like, this is daycare, or not saying the brother was, but just pure and simple. We can't be acting like, things aren't going on when they really are. We would like them to be, oh, now we're in the kingdom and everything, but this thing got to play out. All right. So while it's playing out, stay focused, stay sharp. Okay, let's go to John 10:10. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's Esau, but normally if it is Jake and he's dead wrong, his ass is getting charged that night. And they tell you his name. They say, we have nothing to do with this guy. So what? He's been on the force 30 years. He's a detective. Hey, we didn't train him like that. But if it's Esau, it don't matter what he does. They're always going to fight for him. So that's why I'm assuming it's Esau. If it's not, I will, make a post or talk about it in the next gathering, you know what I mean, in the next class of who this detective is. All right, but let's bring that out. John chapter 10, verse 10.
Well, this is the book of John, chapter 10, and verse 10. When all have a say, come.
John.
Verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
John, who's the thief? Who stole everything? Stole your nationalities, steal your land, steal people, It was Esau. Esau is the number one thief. Not saying nobody else steals, but Esau is that thief. He's nobody can steal like he does. And he doesn't do nothing but steal and kill and destroy. That's what he does. He's programmed to do that. To expect him to do anything different is a headache. It's a migraine, actually. You know what I mean? You expect Esau to change, your expectations are not going to be met at all. Okay. Now let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. Slakia. Chapter 14 and verse 11. Give me 1 second, King. right. Let's bring that out. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11. Matter of fact, start verse 10. Public show.
Con. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, beginning at verse 10. I'll have a say con.
Con.
Verse 10. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it.
So these idol makers are going to be punished with the idols. Go ahead.
11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation. Because in the creature of God, they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
Con. So these idols are stumbling blocks, right? The idol of Yahushua being some stringy-haired hippie is a stumbling block. Okay. Saying you're a Catholic and you can do whatever you want your entire life. You could be a mob boss, you could be a hitman. A lot of the Italians, they're Catholics. And then at the end, on their deathbed, when they're about to die, they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then God says, "Up, he apologized. Let's throw away everything he ever did." And because he apologized. That's the Catholic mindset. You know what I'm saying? That's their doctrine, right? But there should be a visitation also, right? The idols of the Gentiles. So here's that visitation. And who Most High say he's going to visit you. He's going to visit you with some fire. So let's watch this video.
Yeah, news of the fire spread fast. Many families rushed back here and watched as the building burned. You can see the damage is extensive. While those in the community are mourning the loss of the building, they are thanking God this happened after the school day ended. A massive fire tears through a beloved Delaware County Catholic school.
I think that we are currently crushed.
A large gathering of the school and parish community watched for hours as crews doused the flames on St. Francis of Assisi in the building that houses pre-K, kindergarten, first and third grades.
It's a lot of memories that are going away.
Springfield Township's police chief tells NBC 10 the fire was reported just after 5 tonight, a few hours after the school day ended. A neighbor snapped this picture shortly after it broke out, showing flames shooting out of the second-story middle window. Officials say no one was inside at the time and no injuries were reported.
It's amazing to see the damage that's been done. Thankfully, no one got hurt, which is the most important thing.
St. Francis of Assisi Parish is celebrating 100 years in the community. It served generations of families, and while the structure can be rebuilt, this loss is devastating for many.
I went to school here and my daughter goes to school here, a lot of our family. So this has been our parish my whole life. So it's really sad.
It's really heartbreaking that it's all gone now and that it's not there for any of us to see anymore.
In a statement, an Archdiocese of Philadelphia spokesperson said in part, "We are deeply grateful to all fire departments and other first responders for their rapid response and for their work to control the blaze. All classes at the school will be canceled for at least tomorrow. Efforts are already underway to locate an alternate learning location for those who will be affected by the loss of classroom space."
To see the history and this building, these beautiful classrooms gone, and all of the children watching, it's been really a hard night.
And the building that houses grades 2 and 4 through 8 was not affected. Neither was the church. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Tonight, this community, though, is asking for prayers.
Yeah, we pray that the next one, you know what I mean? That the Most High torches the next one. You know what I'm saying? They got to go. Who are you to walk around with the Bible and say God looked like this or God said this or God said that? That's not for the Edomites to do it. Notice in the crowd, there's nothing but Edomites. Anybody that's from around the area, Philadelphia and Springfield, Pennsylvania, no, they got a lot of racism going on up there. You know what I'm saying? I know some people personally that live in Springfield, and yeah, they're very Edomitish because They're Esau. They can't help it. You know what I mean? But what's the Most High going to do? Torch them. You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from God. Okay. And you can't gainsay anything that the Most High does. All right. So now what's Jake doing? You know, we out here on the corner waving the hands saying you need to repent, come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. The Most High going to destroy you. And what happens? Jake walks by with his Edomite wife, Edomite girlfriend. Yo, my man, you got to get yourself a woman from the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, the most beautiful women in the world. You know, nah, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Got a mud duck on his arm, man. You know. So what happens when the mud duck starts acting like she was made, like she was supposed to act? What happens? Bad things happen. You got to watch this. This has some layers to it, okay? Matter of fact, let's get Proverbs 6:32. This has some layers to it. Let me see something. Slack here. And I definitely want you to pay attention to this one and see how the Most High casts forth judgment where you know this is coming from God. Nobody else can deliver this type of judgment other than Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, let's bring that out though. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32.
Con, book of Proverbs chapter 6, verse 32. And all I have to say, Con. Con. 32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
Con, so what if you're committing adultery while dealing with an Edomite that you're not supposed to be with anyway? Man, you in bad shape. And let's see how this plays out. We might have to like kind of go over this one because everybody died. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, we just got to figure out how it happened and why it happened and who started this whole thing, right? Well, a catalyst in this whole thing. All right, but let's watch this next video.
This is one of the most extreme murder scheme stories I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, seriously, it is that type of crazy. Let's get Leviticus 20 and 10 on deck. Leviticus 20 and 10.
All right. A woman stops her fiance's affair by driving him to murder. Okay. Put up the picture full mass. This has so many twists and turns. It's quite unbelievable, but it's true. So in Chicago, a Chicago couple and their 2 children, very sad, were murdered as a result of actions of this duo that you're looking at. Investigators found the fatal incident stemmed from a relationship between engaged couple Nathaniel Huey Jr. on the right and Ermelinda Palomo on the left. Police said the couple or the woman in the duo found out her fiance was having an affair with his coworker. You got to follow the people. It gets kind of complex, okay? So she found out that he was in an affair with his coworker. The coworker's name is Zoraida, okay? So Paloma made a fake social media account to troll Huey, the fiance, into being faithful and convince him to stop entertaining other women. You're going to say, well, how in the world did she do this? How did she use a social media account to make her fiance faithful? There's more. Put it up. The scheme went on for years. Okay? Went on for years until she convinced Huey he was under surveillance by a drug cartel organization. He fell for the entire ruse. On September 14th, 2023, investigators said that Palomo, the woman, sent her fiance, Huey, a message from a fake number warning him that the mole who was targeting him from the make-believe cartel was in fact Bartolome, the woman with whom he was having an affair. Police said he then took off work the days following the warning and began plotting the crime. The night of September 17, 2023, police responded to the home where the alleged affair from the woman who had the alleged affair. This was a welfare check. The family stopped hearing from her. Officers said inside the home, they found her dead along with her husband, Alberto Rowland, 7-year-old and 9-year-old children, as well as their 3 dogs.
And 3 dogs. He killed the damn dogs. Let's bring that out. Leviticus chapter 20 and 10.
God, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 10. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall be surely put to death.
So this is the vengeance of Yahweh Shem outside. She has a whole family. You know, there's her husband, there's her 2 children, young children at that, and the 3 dogs. So Esau pumped up his head to say she's a mole for a cartel. I don't know how, you know, I'm assuming the guy might be selling drugs or doing something illegal, because if you're just a normal 9 to 5, why would a cartel care about me? But anyway, she kept that going for years of this fake social media account, right? Knew that he was cheating with her, set him up to say that, you know, she's getting, you know, going to get him lined up by the cartel. He goes and kills the entire family. All right. But, you know, back in the day, you know, they would have been stoned to death. Now the Most High got her lined up with bullets, and her, because first of all, this would never happen if they weren't having an affair with each other. So her affair, consequently, not taking any responsibility out the brother's hands, you know what I'm saying? But her interactions with him got her entire family killed, even the dog. So let's see what happened to him now. Let's get Judges chapter 14 and verse 3 on deck, and we're gonna listen to the rest of the story.
Investigators said the family was killed with a 9mm gun and accused Huey of being the shooter. The report says police files revealed that Paloma tried to assist Huey in planning the crime by instructing him to, quote, cause damage to make the scene appear to be a burglary committed by kids, end quote. The report says in their messages, she told Huey that many murders go unsolved, end quote. When taken in for questioning, she told officers her fiance was home at the time of the killing, providing an alibi for him. Both denied having involvement in the killing and were free to go. The report says, however, the next day, the 2 fled town to Catoosa. They fled local law enforcement, but crashed their vehicle following a speed chase. Police said following that moment, Huey decided the game was over and then shot his fiancée. Okay? He then turned the gun on himself, took his life. It's unclear if he ever knew his wife-to-be was the one who influenced him with this fake scenario the entire time. This is one of those stories where the truth is stranger than fiction. He probably never knew that the entire thing was a lie. In order to stop him from engaging in an extra-relational affair. They weren't married yet, they were engaged. So she came up with this plot in which it appeared that the person he was having an affair with was somehow entangled in cartel activity. And because of his affair with her, he's now a target of surveillance. He believed it, he fell for it, so much so that she was able to utilize this scenario to manipulate him to commit the most heinous crime you could think of. Now, is it his fault as well? Of course it is. Of course it is. Because if you get caught up like that, you take your lumps like a man. You don't go kill somebody or kill children because you can't bear the penalty of whatever you've done. But he decided to do so. He agreed with it. Went and killed a whole damn family. And then when the gig was up, he kills her, shoots himself. Never in my life have I heard of such an extreme story, but it is true. Sharon, hello, story thoughts here.
It's like mental gymnastics you have to keep up with, but as convoluted, as complicated as it is, Doc, I think we can reduce it to simpler terms: obsession, toxicity, manipulation. That's not love, and it's a dangerous game, and human beings are capable of becoming susceptible to it in many forms. This is among the worst I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it is. So sad that children, innocent children died. You have a whole family that has been wrecked. And naturally, at the end of the day, the guy who did all of this, likely unaware that the entire thing was a lie. A new detail.
Okay, so you see, what Chris Rock say, you know, different lies between men lies and women lies. Men lies like I'm going over Ricky house. I'm going over Bobby house. Women's lies like it's your baby, you know, or like this. Yeah, the person that you're sleeping with that I know about told the cartel about you and they're coming to get you. He kills the entire family. They get interviewed by the police. They decide to, all right, they let us go. Let's get out of here. They get chased by the police. He ends up shooting her and then shooting himself. That is a lot going on. And that is judgment. You know what I mean? She hadn't been messing with the heathen to begin with as a fiance. I'm almost certain she's a heathen. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And he's breaking up the family of his coworker too. You know what I'm saying? So everybody ended up dying. Let's go to Judges chapter 14 and verse 3. Let's talk about Samson.
The book of Judges, chapter 14, verse 3, when all have I say, come. Verse 3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Palestines? And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
So the uncircumcised Philistine that he wanted, you know what I'm saying, ultimately will cause your demise, okay? Because Most High says, take a wife from the seed of your fathers, you know what I'm saying, from the seed of your nation, 12 tribes of Israel, okay? You mess with the devil, you're going to get demonic things happen. And that's exactly what happened. And obviously, this is obvious judgment from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Obviously. Like a story like this, it's like that you can't make that up. You know what I mean? But like Samson, even though Samson, you know, the reason the Most High had is set up that way that, you know, he's going to take out a whole bunch of Philistines. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, but people bring that up like Christians were like, well, Samson had a Philistine wife, but it didn't end up good. You know what I'm saying? Moses had a heathen as a wife, but you're not Moses. You know what I'm saying? Moses, 40 years in the wilderness, like, you know what I mean? 40 years, like, hey, you know, Most High had mercy on him. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have any access to any Israelites where he was at leaving out of the Pharaoh's house. So, you know, we're not Moses. You know what I'm saying? We're not Samson. You know, stick to the script. You know, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, got the most beautiful women on the planet, deal with them, rather than dealing with the devil. And then where that end up with, and end up, the dude killed like five, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He ended up killing like 5 people by the time it was all said and done, right? So he's going into judgment with 5 bodies on him, and let's not forget the dogs. You know what I'm saying? 5 bodies and a dog, and 3 dogs. You know what I'm saying? Messing with these heathens, man. Cut it out. Get yourself a wife from the 12 tribes of Israel, and guess what? You're able to get another wife. You know what I'm saying? You got to treat the first wife good. Don't be treating her like trash and then, I'm gonna give me a second wife. No, man. Treat the first wife good, and you're able to get another wife. I don't say those things are conducive, but you don't have to go around cheating and ducking and hiding and that's hiding your phone and do all the other stuff. It's not necessary. All right. Couple more scriptures. All right. Isaiah chapter 24 and 21. Let's talk about judgment. Now that was judgment. Let's get into some judgments where spiritually these words are starting to make sense. These places, these locations make perfect sense when you watch them. Okay. And this took place in Zion. Judgment in Zion. Let's check this out. Let's bring that out though. Isaiah chapter 24 and 21.
Come, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 24 and verse 21. When all have to say, come. Verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth.
So people that are in rulership positions, right? You can see that happening now. I believe it's going to escalate. You know what I'm saying? Why do I believe that? Because the scriptures say it. But been feeling that a lot lately. Somebody like Elon Musk that is he has all the money in the world. He might become a trillionaire soon. He's very influential. He has dog whistles. He's a white man from Africa. Okay. He's an Edomite from Africa. So you already know he's off, apartheid location to South Africa. And these people like that unelected, but they have that influence, the Most High is gonna chop him down. You know what I'm saying? You look at Joe Biden, his brain is gone, it's mush. He doesn't know what's left from his right. Who knows who's running the country? The Most High, he has the king's heart is in his hands. He moves him like a puppet. You know what I mean? Donald Trump, 34 felonies. I don't know when he's getting sentenced. You know what I'm saying? If I had 34 felonies, I'm pretty sure I'd be in jail by now. But they keep pushing it back. It's rich people problems, right? You probably push it back to the day he dies, and you'll never see a day in jail. But he is convicted of 34 felonies. All right. But these kings and these rulers are going to fall, like this next clip we're going to watch. All right. And you can hold Isaiah 34. We're going to start back at 22. Let's watch this video.
New details for you on a tragic accident in Zion National Park. A man died after falling nearly 200 feet while canyoneering there. Our Southern Utah correspondent, Cannon Seacrest, has the latest now on what happened and some important safety tips, too.
I'm here at Zion National Park, where just this past weekend, a man tragically fell to his death while rappelling in Heaps Canyon, one of the most dangerous routes in the park. Despite being part of a group, the terrain proved challenging for even experienced adventurers. Everyone needs to be able to climb out of potholes. Everyone needs to be able to handle the rappels on some pretty exposed anchor stations on their own, so it's not a place for beginners at all. The accident occurred around 6 p.m. on Saturday when park dispatch received a call that a man had fallen approximately 200 feet. Multiple agencies responded, but sadly the man was pronounced dead before he could be airlifted to a hospital. Due to the dangerous conditions, search and rescue operations were halted that night, and the remainder of the group was safely rescued the following morning.
Gravity is a major factor, and so we got to watch our step around the edges.
cliffs and be roped up if we're going to go anywhere near cliffs. And then we just got to watch above and below when we're working on the edge of one.
Heaps Canyon is known for its challenging terrain, even among seasoned canyoneers. It's not just about knowing the route, it's about being prepared for anything that can happen.
Oftentimes, I see a lot of groups where they're competent in descending a canyon as long as everything goes right. It's when things go wrong that they don't have the training to deal with those situations.
The group was equipped with proper permits, but the rough backcountry of Heaps Canyon can present unexpected dangers.
They better know how to rope up. They better know how to rappel. They better know how to ascend a rope if they need to get out of a slot. And so all of these key skill sets come into play when you're going to go into the backcountry of Zion, particularly if you're going to do any sort of canyoneering.
This incident has shaken many in the canyoneering community, especially when the person involved is experienced.
When it's somebody who is experienced, it makes you question a lot of things. But ultimately, always keep being drawn out there to do these adventures, but you never like to see a fatality like this.
Experts urge anyone planning to canyoneer in Zion to be fully prepared with the necessary skills and equipment. It can be the difference between life and death. Reporting in Zion National Park, Cannon Sechrist, ABC4 News.
Fell off. They say a hill. I don't know. It's like a mountain to me. 200 feet. Daggone. That's up there. I'll say it's a mountain in Zion. Guy tried to climb the mountain in Zion and fell to his death. Now, I'm not saying it's Esau, but if they ain't got Esau written all on it, I don't know what does. Decided to get with a whole bunch of people to climb Mount Zion. Probably Esau. Not saying we don't climb or nothing like that, but if I was a betting man, you know what I'm saying? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 22.
God, Isaiah 24:22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
So these people on these high plateaus, Netanyahu's, the Netanyahu, I think Iran got a missile with his name on it. Like they're gonna try to take him out, but I can't think of the defense minister. I can't think of the guy's name, but he pulled out a gun on a bunch of Israelis. They were protesting in front of his house. He pulled a pistol out. They had to hold him back. He's about to start sparking at him. So that's their own people they're fighting against. They're falling apart, So it's symbolic, like that person that fell off of Mount Zion, people that are trying to climb Mount Zion, well, a mountain in Zion. People that are trying to climb Mount Zion to be us, they can't do it. They're going to fall. They're going to stumble. Netanyahu's going to fumble. Elon Musk is going to fumble. Donald Trump, he needs to get some other security because they've been firing on him and trying to set a trap for him for a minute. Putin, I believe they had ambulances. I wish I had that video. Ambulances and police vehicles rushed to the Kremlin. Why? I believe it was an emergency meeting. So, Israel is looking to strike Iran. Iran said, I got missiles on deck right now. You fire, we're firing back. So I think that's why, Putin might have been rushing to the scene in the Kremlin, but who knows? But what it comes down to is these people that are high and lofty and, Kamala Harris's, all these people that are the politicians, Lindsey Graham's, you're going to start seeing them. The Most High going to start taking them out of here. You know what I mean? How? I don't know. But I'm going to, when it comes down to it and we see it happen, we're going to talk about it here on the Wednesday Wake Up Call. Okay. Now let's get verse 23, Bubba Kashar.
Verse 23. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
So, the moon confounded and the sun ashamed sounds like eclipses. And if you know something. We just had a solar eclipse. We couldn't see it here, but people could see it in South America and other places in the world. Okay. Easter Island. All right. So we in that time period, you know what I'm saying? The Most High is judging this place. Now look at this judgment. This is crazy. Let's go to Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. One of my favorite verses. It deals with what's happening now and today. And we get to see the judgment of the Most High on these people, on these nations, on the 2/3, on the Edomites, on the Moabites. All these other nations are getting judged. Okay. We just want to stay in that good graces so we can watch it and not experience it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, keep in mind, of course, we have the Day of Atonement starting tomorrow at sundown. Okay, so take that very seriously. Whatever time you start, the time you finish the next day. Okay, don't, I was going to start at this time, but I'm going to start 5 minutes later because I didn't get a glass of water and I didn't get this, that, and the third. No, start when you start. All right, don't 5 minutes, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Give that whole time to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, no games being played. There's too many things going on in the world to test the waters, okay? Let's bring that out. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13.
God. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years.
So here we are in modern day Egypt. Go ahead, can you read verse 14?
14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
What does scripture say?
And that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
What's going on right now?
Judgment.
Khan, go ahead.
And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Khan, maybe scared to death. How many people got to fall from Mount Zion before they realize, hey, you can have it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just take it. Get the hell out of here, please. You understand? But they're getting judged. Now watch this next clip. You tell me this ain't judgment.
Man in Berks County is accused of shooting his wife in the head while she was reading her Bible. The district attorney's office says the woman's husband, Howard Bolts, faces attempted homicide charges. Police say Bolts told his wife he wanted her to stop harassing him, then pulled out a rifle and opened fire last Friday in Bethel Township. His wife is expected to survive. Bolts is now being held on $1 million bail.
It's $1 million bail. So he's in Bethel Township. Main man's in Bethlehem, right? Well, here Bethel Township, but you know where that name comes from. And he shot his wife that's reading the Bible because she was harassing him. Well, he shot her with a rifle. And you know what? And then they're walking him around like he's such a a safe old man. He just shot somebody in the head. You gotta put those handcuffs in back. You know what I mean? That guy might be like Jason Bourne, start doing some backflips in a law library and get free. But Bethel Township woman got shot in the head while reading the Bible. That's judgment. He said, what are you doing reading the Bible? Who are you? Who are you to read my laws? You know what I'm saying? Who are you to read my statutes and commandments? It's not for you. Okay? But she thought it was, and she got shot in the head. That is judgment taking place on a daily basis here in America and beyond. We even get outside of the solar, well, not solar, outside the solar system, but outside of the earth, because right now the earth has 2 moons. Right now, the earth or the sun is just exploding with solar flares almost on a daily basis, and we're constantly getting hit by them. So a large earthquake should be coming soon, and we'll see where that's going to be at. But this is what's going on, and hopefully, you know, if you learn something, then one thing, I've done my job. This is the Wednesday wake-up call. We got to repent, or we're all going to likewise perish. Okay? Take the Day of Atonement seriously. Feast of Tabernacles is coming up. All right. Of course, today is the Wednesday fast, for HOI. But tomorrow, right, is the Day of Atonement. If you can do 2 days, by all means. But the main thing is that you make sure you do the Day of Atonement fast. Okay. If you're like, I don't know, man, I might, I'll be weak and I might pass out, this, that, and the third. Well, do the Day of Atonement fast. All right. That's the important one. And in the eyes of the Most High God, we don't do that. We cut off. All right. We don't know. Nobody wants that. All right. So we're gonna keep on going. We'll talk more off scene. You know what I mean? Once we're done with the live stream. But to everybody in YouTube land, okay, keep going. Stay focused. These are the last days. All right. Kwame Yashala, we got next. All right. Shalom.